Tonight's the night. Tonight's the night where I finally kill the Trinity Killer. He's tormented us long enough, but it's finally time to put a stop to— Oh! Looks like I got a little sidetracked there. Throughout the month of October, I've reviewed multiple different horror films, some airing, some not. We've now made it to Halloween, and I have no review for you, but instead, I'm going to be ranking 31 different horror movies, slashers, creature features, found footage. I've gotten at least a single movie from each subgenre. Some placements are controversial, but personal preference, I guess you could say. I also don't really care. So grab a giant bag of candies and scarf them down, because we're gonna go through 31 different horror movies. At number 31, starting the list, is Friday the 13th. Oh, how shocking. The first Friday is unfortunately a generic slasher that is so unbelievably boring. The only things going for it is Pamela Voorhees, the score, and the practical effects. Everything else is bleh. Sequels are fun though. At number 30, it's this year's In a Violent Nature. In a Violent Nature is fun, but it's also boring. Which is the point of the movie, but at times the gimmick becomes tedious. And even though we are following Johnny the whole movie, he's just not very interesting. At number 29, it's 2016's Terrifier. Even though I'm a giant fan of the films, this first one is not very good. Art the Clown and the kills are the only redeeming qualities. At least 2 and 3 are great. At number 27, it's 2009's 9. It's bleak and depressing, and the imagery combines perfectly with the atmosphere. The characters each have their own personalities and roles, which could get tiring, but I didn't really have a problem. I'd also rather watch it than Coraline, which both came out the same year, so At number 26, it is the divisive Longlegs. Michael Monroe and Nicolas Cage are perfect in their roles, and Longlegs will be remembered as a fun villain. The cinematography and score make the film eerie, and constantly make you double guess yourself. At number 25, we have Child's Play. Andy Barclay is a great protagonist, despite being a child actor, which are known for not being great. And Karen and Mike are great too, but the real standout is Chucky. I love the first film so much, but honestly, there are some scenes that are just a little drawn out, but it's not that big of a deal. At number 24, it's the realistic Wolf Creek. Wolf Creek is a movie I will never not recommend, as it stays grounded the whole time. The 3 backpackers are all lovable characters that you care for. Mick Taylor is just the best villain you could ask for. Top 5 worthy. The film takes a little too long to get going, but by the time you start thinking that, Mick shows up. And when Mick shows up, the horror starts. At number 23, it's The Tense the Collector. Arkin is a great final boy, and you root for him the whole time. The pacing goes fast since it is a cat and mouse chase in a house. Oh boy, see that a few times fast. The Collector is a character you just wanted to get the worst pain imaginable. He's a great villain because of that. At number 22, we have the coming-of-age superhero film, Chronicle. The boys feel realistic as if you were watching actual teenagers. They're all likable, and the boys messing around with their powers is always fun to watch. At number 21, it's the chaotic Deep Blue Sea. If Jaws didn't exist, then this would be the best shark movie of all time. The cast is all fun, and the concept is just so stupid. But that's kinda why it works. The Makos are great creatures, with the practical effects still holding up to this day. At number 20, it's Jaws with 8 legs, 2 fangs, and an attitude, arachnophobia. The film excels in making you hate everything, whether it's a spider close-up or it just sitting there, menacingly. The fact they were able to pull off some scenes is incredible, and the 17-minute opening in Venezuela is beautiful, and a perfect way to start the film. Also, John Goodman is in it, which is, like, never a problem. At number 19, it's the loved Trick or Treat. If you want the Halloween film, it's Trick or Treat. It gets you in the mood, and every segment is fun. Sam is creepy and now officially like a horror icon, I think, being Spirit Halloween's second mascot, basically. Hopefully 2 is good, as it comes out within the following 2 years or so. At number 18, it's Little Shop of Horrors. Rick Moranis is lovable as Seymour. The music is fantastic and the sets are amazing, and Audrey 2 is an absolute spectacle to look at. At number 17, it is Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Leslie Vernon is like the most likable horror villain right off the bat. It's hard to hate him. The found footage aspect is executed well, and the idea of a serial killer doing it because of famous icons like Jason, Michael, and Freddy is hilarious. At number 16 is the influential Saw. Saw just turned 20 the other day ago, now that I mention it. Adam and Gordon have great dialogue going back and forth, and Tap and Sing are a great duo. And of course, those traps are amazing. At number 15, it's the lovable Scream. Scream is hard not to like, with likable characters and a great concept. Ghostface is a fun idea for a killer, and Sidney Prescott is a great final girl. At number 14, it's the scariest movie of all time, The Exorcist. Very controversial, I'm aware. There are a lot of great scenes in the film, and the characters are great. but it feels slow at some points. And most of the time I find myself bored, unfortunately, no matter how many times I try to rewatch it. Linda Blair gives an amazing performance, and the horror scenes still hold up to this day. At number 13, it's the iconic Halloween. Halloween has a great setting, great characters, great score, and an awesome villain for the first film at least. What's not to love? Well, the writing isn't that great, and most of the scenes feel very slow, but other than that, it's a fun time. At number 12, it is A Nightmare on Elm Street. Nancy is an underrated final girl, and the score is great too. The practical effects still hold up, and Freddy Krueger is a great villain. Sinister, yet charming. No one else could have made Freddy iconic. At number 11, it is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The setting is unsettling, the cinematography makes you feel like you're watching a dirty film. Leatherface is a disturbing character despite being a slasher, and it's mainly due to the outfits he wears. Starting the top 10, we have the Evil Dead. The Deadites are some of the coolest villains, being not only scary, but funny. The amount of blood they were able to show was insane, and Ash Williams is the best horror character. At number 9, it's Hellraiser. Kirsty is a likable final girl, while Frank and Julia are cool ideas for a villain, and the Cenobites are fun characters, making the whole scene about them just with their presence. At number 8, it is The House That Jack Built. Matt Dillon gives the best performance, and the tone of the film is perfect. The kills are effective, and the cinematography is uncanny. Jack is a great villain, up there with Hannibal Lecter and Norman Bates. At number 7, it is the Toxic Avenger. I got no words for this, it's the Toxic Avenger. At number 6, it's Alien. The Xenomorph is a great movie monster, being simply iconic. The setting and atmosphere set the tone of the film, with you not knowing where the Xenomorph might show up. Ripley is the best final girl, being smart and likable. At number 5, it is The Shining. Jack Nicholson is great at going slowly insane, and the Overlook Hotel sets the tone of the movie perfectly. Shelley Duvall plays Wendy perfectly, with her performance seeming real, which it partially is. At number 4, it is Psycho. Janet Leigh is iconic as Marion Crane, giving one of the best scenes ever put to film. The score and the setting are perfect. Norman Bates is played by Anthony Perkins, making Norman likable, yet unnerving at the same time. At number 3 is The Thing. Antarctica is a perfect setting for the movie that plays with the human mind. McCready is a smart protagonist that you question most of the time, wondering if what he's doing is right or not. The Thing is an iconic movie monster, and it couldn't have been made without the iconic practical effects, which are the best special effects to ever be put on film. At number 2, it is The Silence of the Lambs. It is the only horror film to win Best Picture, and it makes sense. Clarice Starling is a great protagonist that you root for the whole time. The cinematography is done perfectly, constantly putting you in Clarice's point of view. Hannibal Lecter is an interesting character that you want more of. He's off-putting at first, but once he starts talking, the horror starts. And then finally, at number 1, we have Godzilla. Dr. Serizawa is an interesting character, and the theme of destruction and technology is haunting. Godzilla is now often considered a cool monster, which he is, don't get me wrong, but this first film truly shows how terrifying he is. The score isn't fun as we're used to, it's haunting. The ending of the film lets you know that no one wins in the end. If there is a best horror film, then this is the film. It is a perfect movie. In fact, it's a masterpiece. Well, I think I've overstayed my welcome talking about horror movies. This was really fun to make, and I hope some of you watched these movies or at least learned something from it. I didn't want it to just be mainstream horror movies. I wanted to talk about movies like The Toxic Avenger that no one has heard of. So, until next time, happy Halloween.
Jesus Christ,
Oh my God.
What is that?
I don't know.
Alan,
What?
grab it. Grab it.
I'm not gonna grab that.
Grab it now.
You grab it.
Get it now.